Hey guys, it's me again. You guessed it. We're still doing this vertical thoughts thing. This is like episode 17, I think. So we got a special guest today. We've been back and forth lately between local guests and phone interviewees. We have one here today coming in from, where are you right now? Are you in Texas right now, Sam?
I'm in actually Portland, Oregon.
You are in Portland, Oregon. I'm a little jealous. I think I'd rather be in Portland, Oregon. Is the weather nice up there right now?
It's actually super nice right now. 80s, partly cloudy, perfect for climbing.
I can do 80s and partly cloudy. I like that. That sounds nice. Today we're joined by Samuel Van Boxtel, a.k.a. the Chalked Climber. Or maybe it's just Chalked Climber. Is it a drop the kind of situation?
I think it's open to interpretation.
That's fair enough. I'll take Justin Timberlake's advice and drop the. But one thing I will say, Chalked Climber, that has a nice, like, phonetic ring to it, doesn't it? That's
yeah. Like, it feels nice to say. Yeah.
It's fun. It's pleasant in the mouth is how I would describe it. Chalked Climber. It feels like I'm telling someone off. Well, climber, content creator, route setter. Welcome to the show, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Do you prefer Sam or Samuel before I keep going back and forth?
Sam will be good.
Sam is good. Okay, I was just going to be fickle and just bounce back and forth the whole time, so we're good. Let's start with the basics. Where are you from? How long you been climbing? Do you have a favorite flavor of Sour Patch Kid, and why is it blue raspberry?
It was actually going to be blue. That was the first one that popped in my head.
Got him.
I'm Sam. I'm a route setter, climber. I've been climbing for about 3 years, mostly indoor, but the last 2 years or so, I've been starting to venture outdoors, and I'm loving it. So.
Awesome. What is your home gym? You said at 2 gyms, right?
Yeah. So I set at 2 different gyms, but my home gym is the Source Climbing Center. It's kind of a smaller gym, but it's got ropes and bouldering, so that's nice to be able to do both back and forth.
Cool. Was there any reason that I thought you lived in Texas? Did I see that somewhere, or did I just make that up?
Probably just made that up. No, I don't know.
I just assume
always
everyone's
been here
from Texas. I don't know. Cool.
I've been to Texas once.
How was it?
It was good. I climbed at Boulder, Austin Bouldering Project.
Yeah.
And the Crux. They were super cool.
Both gyms are awesome. Yeah.
I'm from.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually, I just, ever since Jeremy came on the show, I just got it stuck in my head that everyone's from Texas. I mean, I apologize. I'm making things up to both you and my viewers, but I mean, if they don't expect that at this point, what can you say really about that? So, I mean, most of the people listening to this probably are at least familiar with you if you've popped up on their Instagram feed once or twice or seen some of your posts. Content creation is obviously a big part of what you do. You have fairly substantial, part of your influence in the climbing space, at least in my experience, comes from your Instagram account, which again, to those who are listening, can be found at chalked.climber or at chalked.climber. And you're just shy of 12,000 followers. That's pretty cool. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's good. I don't know. Each time I wanted to get to 10K, and then once I hit it, it didn't feel quite as big as I thought it was. But it's cool. It's cool to have people that are following you and are interested in climbing. So.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very interesting to see growth. I mean, because you see growth like in exterior places, you know what I mean? You see other people attain a certain level of success. And I've always found for me, it's like surreal anytime I attain some kind of success in something. I never really understand what's happening, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. So where did the idea to start kind of a branch into the climbing page of Instagram, where did that come from?
Yeah, it started from, so I'm a homeschooled high school graduate now. Just graduated Saturday. So it started as just an idea, as a hands-on project to work on my marketing skills, because that was something I'm interested in. So my goal was just set a goal for myself to get 1,000 followers on like a climbing Instagram, just going through using all the videos I had of my climbing. So, and then I did it in I think it was 35 days. So just a few days short, but
awesome.
it was close.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's amazing what a little strong marketing can do on a platform like Instagram.
Yeah.
So not only do you have your Instagram, you've kind of, whether past or present, you've kind of branched into other content creation aspects. I mean, we've seen video and audio. You also had, for a period of time, we're doing your podcast, Whatever It Takes.
Yeah.
You also have your website and your blog, chalktoclimber.com. Do you ever find it difficult to manage the different social media outlets when you have so many of them?
Yeah, it's a balance. It's weird. I have to remind myself like that to not get too stressed out about some of the stuff, because it's easy to be like, oh, I should be posting here and here and here. So yeah, I feel like I've taken like breaks from some, and just trying to figure out like which I enjoy to do, before like just doing it because I feel like I have to. So
I like
that's kind of why I'm. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. That's kind of why I'm not doing the podcast currently, because it was too stressful to get the guests lined up, and I hope to do it with like a weekly scheduled. So it's like, oh, I'll just get guests when I get them, because I enjoyed to do it, but the stress of doing weekly was caught up to me.
I understand. I get it. It is very difficult. And for a short period of time, we were trying to do like rock climbing vlogs on my YouTube channel, and trying to balance that. When we started Vertical Thoughts, immediately those went out the window. I was like, I don't have time. I can focus on one thing. For me, I work a full-time day job as well. That certainly doesn't help at all. But it just, you got to balance your time very, very wisely when you are having, different social media outlets. And I'm sure any content creator will tell you that the same thing that Sam and I are telling you. If you're listening, it's just do what you like the most. I mean, do what makes you the most happy. There's success comes at a certain point, but I think for a lot of the feedback that we've received, I think people can genuinely tell in your content creation if you enjoy it, if you were really sinking your teeth into it. It shows through the cracks. So that's a good point.
Yeah, and I think you'll actually put the work into. You'll stay up an extra hour, and you'll get the one piece of content done that you need to, because you're enjoying what you're doing, not just like slugging through. So
Absolutely.
That helps.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Would you have any advice? And this is a hard one for me because I get this question actually pretty commonly. So for someone wanting to step into climbing content, this can be video, photography, social media platform, any of that stuff. Would you have any advice for someone wanting to step into that field?
Yeah, I would say be yourself. Don't try to be like a page you follow, because why would someone want to follow you if you're just trying to be a copy of someone else's page? That's why I tell people. Also, be ready to work if you're going to set your deadlines for yourself. Like if you want to do a daily post or 5 posts a week, you be ready to put in the work to get that. And then if it's too much work and you're like not enjoying the amount of work, you can just dial it back and do 2 posts a week. Just if it's like your side thing, you want to make sure that you're enjoying it. Otherwise, why are you doing it?
Yeah, so that's really good. And that's really big. I mean, consistency is huge, right? People will be drawn towards some kind of consistency, but don't break your back over it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to just put out something every day. We talked about this with Paul Robinson on the show, where the people who are putting out iPhone videos of themselves sending hard climbs every day, they're going to fall behind the next few years. The people who are putting up 4K red camera footage of them sending hard climbs once a week. It's the age we're in. The quality standard is so much higher. So my point's just to add to what Sam said, for anyone wanting to jump into climbing content creation or social media, really focus on quality. Put a big tick mark in consistency, and be consistent, but don't sacrifice quality for consistency necessarily. Find the balance. Somewhere in there exists a weird intersection of consistency and quality that the algorithm is going to love, and it's going to make you famous. So enjoy that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about the algorithm.
No one does. And I'll also add to quality. When you spend the time and you think of quality, might not always be getting that 4K, getting the nice camera. It might also be spending 30 minutes and thinking of unique post ideas that like will stand out. You're trying to stand out from the crowd because there's just so many people posting that iPhone video of them sending that V4. So try to be creative, quality, and consistent.
Yeah, and I liked what you said about building your own brand. Not trying to be someone else. That's good, and it's difficult in this day and age. There's a large pool that is social media. May seem sometimes like everyone's done everything, but just find the niche. You know what I mean? Find something you're good at, something that people like to watch you do. It's all being done through a camera, anyways. So it's got to be, with the consumers in mind. We here at Vertical Thoughts, we do what we like to do, and our consumers enjoy it, and we're blessed for that. But sometimes you do have to cater to your consumers just a little bit, unfortunately. But with a platform like Instagram or social media in general, you can really just share your life, share a piece of your life. And how's it been for you, Sam, to share little pieces and intricacies of your life with people and to actually receive feedback about that? How's that been for you in the last I don't know, how long have you had your Instagram page for? Like 4 years, 5 years, something like that?
Oh no, I think this is 10 or 11 months. So
I baited you on that one.
Yeah, so it's been good. It's been cool. The last few months I've been sharing more with my stories and more stuff that's like more personal, quote unquote. It's more about my life. That's not just like, here's me sending this climb, here's me talking about climbing. So it's cool that like the people that follow you for climbing, when they start like messaging you about, hey, congrats on your graduation, or like cool stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of cool that they're kind of like friends more than just like enjoying my climbing content.
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome to see the community kind of building up around one person or one thing. And I have to confess something. I did go back and I did check when your first few posts were. I got to let you brag a little bit. We got to, you got to let you flex the account a little bit. We like what you're doing over there a lot. And before we started doing this Vertical Thought stuff, I saw your post popping up on the feed. So you're obviously doing something right for the community, because when the community chooses someone or something, it's made known. You know what I mean? Because that's what the term viral means, is that the collective community, whatever community it caters to, has chosen that to be, what they want to view or what they want to consume for that moment. Although the moments are fleeting nowadays, it's changing constantly. But
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about getting feedback from people. So in a post on your website, on your blog, back in April of this year, you talked a little bit about some negative feedback that you get from time to time and how it affects you. Talk to me a little bit about, I know you said some good stuff in that post, and if those of you who are listening, go check it out and read it for some thoughts about that. But talk to me a little bit about how you combat some of that stuff as it comes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think anytime you're posting, I guess just kind of with the climbing community, when you're posting like indoor climbs, there's always going to be those few people, those few sour grapes, as one of my friends, Sam, says, messaged me today. So for feedback, I feel like it's all about like perspective. It's taking a step back and realizing that like anyone who's taking their time to out of their day to stop, watch your content, consume it, and then take time to comment and like hate or message you, like I think the problem's on them, not on you. Like your job is just put out content that you love. I'm not trying to hate on people, so
sure.
I would say it's more about perspective of like, it's not my fault. I mean, you can not like my content, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to make content for everyone. I'm trying to make content that I like, that hopefully people enjoy too.
Yeah, that's really well put. And we had Katie Jo Myers on the show recently, and I think she said it best. She said that rock climbing is a microcosm of society. So being more specific with that, rock climbing on Instagram is a microcosm of the internet as a whole, because Instagram, as an appendage of the internet, has its own little kind of society. And anytime you get a quote unquote society, or anytime you get a group of people together, you kind of will be diluted by a couple, say bad peas in every pod. So the bigger pool of people you have, or the more attention that you draw to yourself, you're going to bring that kind of hatred with you because of the society that is Instagram. If you draw attention to yourself in a positive way, in other words, if you have quality and consistent content, people are going to be drawn to you. And the more people that get drawn to you, there's a couple bad peas in every pod. So it's going to bring out the haters. And it's a tale as old as time. It really is. And I think you're right. It has nothing to do with the creator. It's just you're doing something right, most likely, if people are throwing that stuff
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. That means you're doing something right, more likely than not. It means you're bringing people in. So
Yeah, it's just a bigger pool of people that are consuming your content. You know what I mean? You get that small percentage of hatred in there that's just going to filter through the cracks. And people see success and they have a screen to hide behind, so they just kind of spout toxicity without any kind of consequences. Kind of part of the time in which we live. But it's cool of you, I think, to share that with people, because I think a lot of content creators don't address that. They just kind of brush it to the side, and they see those comments and maybe they don't even read them. For me, it's difficult to move past that kind of stuff. I'm very, I guess you could say I'm sensitive. I'm sensitive to other people's feedback and opinions, and I'm sort of a people pleaser. So when I get that kind of thing, oftentimes it will stick with me for a little bit and kind of change my mood. But I think you're right. The perspective thing's big, taking a step back and just looking at it.
Yeah, I would say I'm still the same way, Liam. It's like, that's what I would say to someone who's struggling with that. Sure. That's what I say to myself. But no, yeah, like, I mean, I think it says more that you care what you're doing. And when someone says they don't like it, it's like, you feel like you could be doing better. But the more I think about it, it's like, I'm doing what I'm doing. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But if you're going to take the time to tell me, then it's not worth my attention, I guess.
That's beautifully put. And let's cater that a little bit towards route setting for a minute. So I'll backpedal a little bit. You are a route setter. You said for two different gyms. How long have you been setting for? Yeah,
so I've been setting for commercially, like in gyms for the last, I think it's about a year now. But setting overall, it's been, I think, about 2.5 years. That's when I started setting at the home wall, which if you follow my Instagram, you'll see the occasional video of me still setting on that wall, which is super fun. So that's my brother's home wall. It's a pretty nice setup. And yeah, that's how I got into it. Once I started setting there, kind of like opened my eyes to what setting was. I was like, this is really cool. And then, yeah, and then I eventually, through months of like volunteering and washing holds and running for the setters, I got to start volunteer setting at the source. And now I set at Skyhook too, which is a Ninja Fitness, and they also have a pretty big climbing area. So, yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, so that's the way to do it. I mean, just get your foot in the door and learn as much as you can, and then just start throwing it up on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any long-term goals related to route setting?
I would love to set for some higher level competitions, like of the youth circuit, because I feel like that would be cool to get on some of the bigger stages of U.S. competition climbing. Since I'll never be I'm not going to be a pro climber or anything. So I think it'd be cool to get to the point where you're setting for the high level athletes like that.
Yeah, absolutely agree. We had a route setting special episode this last week with two local setters, really strong setters in our local area that set for competitions kind of here in Southern California. More recently, one of them was setting for the competition at the Grotto, and then there was one also at the Factory. And Southern California is big with climbing gyms and big with setters specifically. And I enjoyed talking setting with those guys. So I want to throw at you some of the questions that I talked about with them and kind of get your thoughts about them. So how, if at all, in your opinion, has social media or the presence of rock climbing on social media affected route setting overall, across the globe?
I think it's affected it just like competition climbing has evolved. Competition climbing now involves more dynamic moves that are more appealing to the audience. Like, we're now catering to, not completely, but we're catering to, we want to get the sport out. We want to get exposure, because when regular people watch maybe crimping or like doing some hard mono sequence, they're going to not be terribly impressed. But if you see them like running across the wall, jumping, doing some double clutches, that's going to get people excited. So same thing with social media. I think now you should have gyms are setting more climbs like that, because one, it's just going to look so much better on social media. People are going to share that around. Buzz for the gym's going to go up. I think it's smart for gyms to actually have climbs like that, and advertise climbs like that, for social, like from the social media side of things. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I think spectatorship has a really big part in that. Spectatorship for climbing is much higher now than it was a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and specifically on social media. It's been cool to see kind of one thing we talked about last episode was the development of new styles is expedited vastly by social media. I mean, someone develops a new style that's cool, or a new move style that's cool, or a new sequence, and people see it, and they see it that day, and they're like, oh, I'm going to try that, in my local gym and see if it works for what I've got going on. Whereas, back 5 years ago when the social media presence wasn't so big, really the only way to get more inspiration for things like that was to either I know there was magazines where you could get it, but also like big stage competition climbing, IFSC and that kind of stuff, or outdoors. You can go outdoors and look for it. But it's so much more available now. Do you find yourself commonly on social media or on Instagram getting inspiration for new setting techniques?
Yeah, I try to do that at least once a week. I try to sit down for some selected amount of time, like 20 or 30 minutes, and then a great thing to do is just like to save any type of move that you're like, oh, this is really cool. Maybe someday I can work this into the wall and holds I have selected for a route. But yeah, it's cool to see. There's so much out there, and it's just growing. And more setters are getting on Instagram, and I'm getting like proud of quote unquote of their of what they've created. So it's cool to see what people around the world, the different levels, like based on the countries, like. Mm-hmm. European gyms are definitely a step above us, but it's cool to see what they can do.
Yeah. Have you climbed at any gyms overseas?
I have not. I would so love to over the next year. Well, actually, at any point, but yeah, hoping to go over there sometime, but we'll see how that works. Money.
It's not cheap, especially to go climb at a climbing gym. So I mean, if you're flying to Europe just to climb at a climbing gym, then let me know what you do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Let me know if you're looking to sponsor a climbing podcast, because I'll get in touch with you. So as far as content creation goes with your route setting, do you have any plans in the future for kind of merging the two, route setting and your content creation?
Yeah. So I'm trying to shift it more, my page more to my climb, like almost all my climbing in as much as possible the climbs I've set. Mm-hmm. So then when I go to like approach gyms for competition, like to request to be one of their competition setters, mm-hmm. guest setters, I can be like, hey, look at, I have these list of all these moves I've done before, like showing your level of skill, just right off the bat, all in one place. And then I can be like, look, all these people like this move. It like gives you some credibility.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah. Have people in your like local areas, is your Instagram account, your social media presence, is it a topic of discussion in person for people?
Occasionally, and there's quite a few instances where I've had friends. So I have like one of my close friends. She was like, yeah, so my best friend the other day saw you at the gym, and she sees you like all the time, but she hasn't like actually said anything because your Instagram's too big. I've had this like multiple times. And then I've had quite a few people like awkwardly walk up and like start a conversation. You're like, hey, are you like that chocolate climber guy? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So not terribly a lot, but I've met up with a lot of people in the local area. I've just like messaged people and tried to climb with as many people as possible that were like on Instagram that I could find. So so I created some of the relationships, but it's kind of what climbing's about.
Oh, absolutely. You can just grow in the community and like Paul Robinson said, just elevating it, picking the whole community up, not just you, but everyone together, bringing them up. That's cool that you do that. You reach out to the local community and use your Instagram presence as a way to kind of bring people together. I mean, that's what we're doing here too. That's why, I resonated with a little bit, is because we want to bring climbers to a place where it's climbing. You know what I mean? They want to come to a place, they want to listen to, talk about, banter about climbing. And climbers are, by heart, they are rock climbers. They want to talk about it. They want to watch videos. They want to look at photos. You know what I mean? It's such a content driven sport because it's so pretty to look at, honestly, I think is a big part of it. But you also have, in terms of growing the community, you also have a Facebook page that you've started, right? Or Facebook group, rather?
Yeah, group is what I would say more. I mean, I have a page just so I could start the group, basically.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So where did that idea kind of come from? Or was that just hand in hand with the Instagram account?
I think that started a few months into the account. I wanted to have a place that that you could like message people. I mean, not message people, that you could like other people could post like what they're working on, training questions to the group as opposed to just to me, because I wanted to create a community. That was one of my main things, and I don't know. I feel like you can't do that as well on an Instagram page, but a Facebook group is made for that. So I think that's going really well, and we just kind of updated some things in that, and I think I'm loving where it's headed.
Yeah, I've been. Spoilers for those who are listening. I joined. Okay, I joined the group.
Saw that. Yeah,
I'm part of it. I'm here. I'm in it, dude. I'm waist deep in all of this. I love it. It's great. I like what you're doing. You're having some like themed days, right? Where certain days will have a certain theme.
Yeah, that's something I read about, and I really loved, and thought I'd see if I could implement in the kind of climbing groups and we'll see how it catches on.
Yeah, people love structure. They love it. So when you put a theme on something, oof. I mean, just tell me it's, it doesn't have to be Taco Tuesday, but if you say the words Taco Tuesday to me, it has like a weird like reaction in my body where, I'm salivating at the sound of a bell. It's been done before. We've all heard of this, but people love themed content, and it's fun to participate in a climbing community where you can kind of share your own progress in your posts. And for you specifically, do you have, I know this is a hard question to answer and I'm never good at it, but do you have a favorite thing about rock climbing?
I'm not going to say the community, because I think I'd still love rock climbing somewhat if I was stranded in a desert and there was this rock to climb and I somehow had my gear.
That's a good point.
I think I'd still love just the feeling on the wall, like just especially when you just get that flow right and you're just moving and everything just feels nice and comfortable and you're just moving. It just feels, there's nothing like it. I guess I would say it's just like if you're a dancer or whatever and you got your dance nailed and you're just confident, you're just enjoying it. That's when you get a climb dialed or a grade dialed. That's what it feels like, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, agreed. And you've unintentionally provided me with a fantastic fictional show idea. It's a drama, of course. It's just one guy wakes up in the middle of the desert. There's a wall, about 10 feet high, 40-degree grade. On the ground in front of him, a selection of climbing holds. And it's also, I'm spiraling here. He's got a set of climb. I don't know. I don't write shows. Okay, it's someone else's job.
I was going to say. Stay in podcasting.
Yeah, this is, I don't know, man. People listen. You got to set climbs over. You got to unlock it. It's Jigsaw. It's a Saw movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Saw 13 or whatever we're on now. He's got to set the perfect climb, and then he'll be rescued from the desert.
Otherwise, he dies from the saw.
Otherwise, he dies from this. Yeah, bunch of saws, dude. Like 50 of them. Either that, or he's just cursed to punt off his project eternally.
Probably that would be worse.
I think that happened to me at some point. I've been punting. If you, we'll play the desert island game. Do you ever have a climb? I know for the most part this only applies outdoors, but for me, I get this in my head indoors too. But do you have a climb in mind that if you could only do one for the rest of your life, it would be that one?
If we only do one, am I strong enough to do whatever climb this is, or do I have my current strength?
You have to have done it already.
Oh, I've actually done it already.
Yeah, higher stakes even. And it can be a climb you set. Don't be bashful.
I know. I was trying to think of I think so. There was I'm gonna do a problem I set, because if I did this climb for the rest of my life, I would have amazing upper body strength, because that's all it was. It was 1 foot per move, slopey feet in a 40-degree overhang. It was literally just jump to pinches, every move, 1 foot. So if I did that climb all day, every day, I'd have some super strong shoulders and upper body. So
just be absolutely ripped out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, that's so.
Can this climb be found on your Instagram channel?
Yes, somewhere halfway down.
You heard it here, folks. Scroll halfway down.
Halfway down. Look for orange pinches.
Orange pinches.
At the source.
That's crazy, dude.
I'm sure there's no other route that has that.
Sure. In fact, if you just look up orange pinches rock climb, you're gonna find it, guaranteed.
Oh, so just search it on Google.
Well, that's cool. That's a different kind of question than I've ever asked here before. But for me, and all the Southern Californians are going to like put their lips to their fingers right now and give a kiss and pour one out for this climb. But for me, it's Gypsy's Day Out in Black Mountain. Sandbaggy V3, I think it's like a 5, but whatever. It's Black Mountain, amazing outdoor climb. Indoor climbs, I have so much fun indoors all the time. It's why I can't set, because I have so much fun on other people's climbs that I'm just like, man, I don't know. They're all cool. Just whatever. I'll just dyno for the rest of my eternity, I guess. So moving forward from that a little bit here. So I know, favorite thing about rock climbing, it's difficult to answer, but I appreciate your answer about, climbing, what it means to you as opposed to the community. It's an easy answer, and it's not a lazy answer, I don't think, but it's easy to say that your favorite part about rock climbing is the community, because the community is aces. I mean, it's like 10 out of 10. And did you ever kind of see yourself when you started out with this whole thing? Did you see yourself becoming an influencer in the climbing community?
I did not at all. I was just surprised that, when I started, it was not anything about like influencing, becoming known at all. It was just, I was going to, hey, I wonder if anybody enjoys these videos that I have on my phone.
Yeah. And they do, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
Or our Lord and Savior algorithm has chosen you.
Algorithm.
No, I mean, you're doing something right. And you found kind of a balance for a while. And I know you spoke just a little bit ago here about kind of shifting this balance, but have you tried to find kind of an equation, not an exact one, obviously, but for reposting content versus posting original content?
I think it depends what you want from your Instagram. I think that's where you start. I think that's where almost all of your strategy starts. So I think it depends on what you're getting out of it. Which at the beginning I didn't really. Well, my goal was 1,000 followers, so that's what I was trying to get out of it.
Sure.
And now it's more like, hey, like I said earlier, this is my route setting. This is what I can do. And then keeping up with like the blog and things like that for the people that I've been following. So.
Yeah. So that content kind of becomes like a lifeline for people. People, they want it every day or every week or however it comes. They want it. When it doesn't come, they're like, hey man, what's up? What's going on? Are you dead? Because notice there was no episode today.
Like today.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, it's cool the way that works. I mean, I got a message recently from someone who was telling me that he listens to lots of podcasts, but he, is really stoked to have a climbing podcast in his life because it makes him want to get on the wall. And that's really cool and super accurate. I mean, there's a lot of cool climbing content on Instagram, and every time I see something, regardless of whether it's reposted or original, it makes me want to climb. And that's the best part of it, is it makes you crave for the wall, whether it be real rock or plastic, whatever you're thinking about right now. It makes you want to rock climb. And to be a motivator in that way, to motivate people to do something like that, especially something so healthy and positive for your lifestyle. It's an honor. I mean, it really is. So going into it and kind of just seeing where it goes, given the success that you've achieved this far, what's next? What do you have planned for the future?
Well, right now, I'm just taking up, got confirmed that, I'll be doing a setting and social media position at, Skyhook. And then I'm hoping to move into some more social media stuff at the Source too. So I guess less like on the chalk to climber front, but more on, I love doing it. So I'm stoked to be doing it for, like gyms that I love. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a new challenge, but I think it'll be super fun.
Yeah. So you built your own brand, and now it's time to help build some other brands. And that's it's an important skill. It's a sought after skill, and there's a lot of companies that'll pay dearly for that, or even if they don't, they just want it. And it's a positive thing. I think we talked about this a little bit last episode too, kind of the behind the scenes of rock climbing. Route setting, content creation, behind the camera stuff, even gym staff. I mean, the average climber doesn't really think about this stuff too often. And that's where shortly here, hopefully, Ethan, if you're listening to this, Ethan Wright, the manager of one of the local companies down here, Hangar 18, he manages several gyms, it's like 7 or 8 gyms or something like that. We want people to talk about, what it's like to work in a gym and because it's interesting, because climbers don't often think about that or at least from my experience, they don't think about the behind the scenes stuff because it's not relevant to them. What's relevant to them is what's on the wall, what they're going to do this week as far as the new set. Totally respectable, but it's cool to kind of dig into the behind the scenes of that. And I respect you for getting involved in that. I mean, was it a difficult choice for you to step away from building your own brand to help build others, or was that something that you just really wanted to do and it came naturally?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something I enjoyed to do. So getting paid to do it on a consistent basis is pretty sweet. Because I guess I learned over the last year, and I guess it's not. I don't mind working for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can't stand it, which is cool, and I respect that. And I thought I was that way. I think I was telling myself I was that way, but I think I've learned that no, I'm cool doing it for someone else, and knowing that the paycheck's going to come every month. So I'm stoked to do that and enjoy what I'm doing too. It's not just boring work. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you can find a way to make a living, or at least part of a living doing something you love, I mean, that's success. That's how I define success anyways. Yeah. So congratulations on that, man. That's awesome news. Before we get into our closing thoughts here, wrapping up, let's just throw a random trivia question at you.
Sweet.
You need a little warm up or something? I mean,
sure. Give me what you got.
Okay. The warm up's going to be the actual question. So.
Oh, perfect. I'm already warmed up.
This is me. Yeah. Just walk into the gym and jump on the project. This may be an easy question, and I have no idea because I have never quizzed you on competitive or outdoor sport climbing before. But who are the top 3 climbers in the world who have climbed the most in terms of quantity 515 graded sport climbs? In order. Bonus points for in order. How about
in
that?
Order.
Yeah.
Top 3. Okay. Well, Adam Ondra.
Sure.
I want to say Stefano Gasolfi. It's probably not.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I'll give you one more. You're going to throw another name out there because there's 3.
It should be Alex Migos, right?
Alex Migos is number 3. Yeah. So
okay.
You got number 1 and number 3. Number 2 is actually our hero, Christopher Sharma.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I was thinking of other countries. That's why I got stuck on.
Yeah. And
okay.
I mean,
I'll
Stefano's like rock solid. I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there in the top 10 for sure. But yeah, Alex Migos, number 3, and then coming in at number 2, Chris Sharma. Something like 80% of Chris Sharma's 515s have been on-sites or flashes, which is disgusting. But
doesn't surprise me, but that's crazy.
Here's another one. Have you seen Chris Sharma's beard?
Oh, yeah, I saw that the other day. That was... I don't know what I have to say about it.
Shook. Yeah, I'm shook. Doesn't look like him.
Yeah, I questioned if it was... And then I was like, wait, no, it says Chris Sharma.
It was on his account. I think maybe we're talking about the same picture. Was it him and his wife?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, who's this Chris Sharma's wife? Who's this? Is that Zach Galifianakis? No, he looks very fatherly. I'm sure he's enjoying his life. He's found much more success than me, so I'll stop making fun of his beard. But yeah, so Adam Ondra by a ridiculous margin has climbed more 515s than anyone else. We all know. We talk about him every episode. We're big fans. We like him. One day we're going to get him on the show and we're going to practice power screaming with him.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm going to have to get maybe more expensive microphones to handle that.
I was going to say the microphones. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, that's all we got for you today. You have any last, I got to stop saying any last words before I have guests on the show. Any closing remarks? How about that?
I would love to have something dramatic and planned out, but
hey man, keep it organic.
Do what you love.
That's pretty organic.
Dramatic pause.
This episode's brought to you by Organic Climbing. It's not, but like, wouldn't that be the best caveat?
That'd be a great way.
Well, I mean, thank you so much for joining me here, for coming on. It's nice to meet you, even though it's, virtually.
Yeah.
We've been kind of chatting back and forth a little bit on Instagram for the past little while since we started Vertical Thoughts. So, but I mean, if you're ever in Southern California, absolutely look us up, come down in the studio and chat with us a little bit more.
Totally. I totally will.
Yeah, and those of you listening, if you're fans of Sam's or fans of us, Vertical Thoughts, whoever you are, whatever you're doing right now, just remember, every Monday at 9. It's the most healthy thing for you. I'm just looking out for your well-being. Just establish a healthy routine of listening to Vertical Thoughts every Monday morning at 9 a.m. You can listen to it at 10 or 11. It comes out at 9 a.m., so you can literally listen to it anytime after then. But remember, it's for you. Sam, thanks once again. And everyone, episode 17, we'll see you in the next one.